I think the other book that you had a picture of Kabalevsky in it, and then there's a little biography about him, so you can read about that, and I might ask you some questions about him next time I see you, which will be next Wednesday, I think. Would you like to hear it before we start it? Want me to play it?
Yeah.
Okay. Stand up over here and look at right above the first measure. What words do you see there? I'm going to try to make it sound how?
Gaily and quite fast.
Oh, okay, gaily and quite fast. And be careful because I'm going to ask you some questions at the end. All right. Did it sound gay to you? Did it sound happy? What are some of the things that the composer put in there that might make it sound happy? What signs?
Accents?
Accents. Okay, are there accents in every measure?
Yeah.
Yep. On which beat?
The first beat.
First beat. Okay, anything else that do you think makes it sound kind of happy?
The staccatos.
I agree. I think those staccatos that really give it a bouncy kind of lift. Did you notice in one line I started very softly? Let me start the third line. Why did I soften up a bit there?
Because of the dynamics.
Okay, the dynamics have to get what?
Louder.
And so if I start louder, I'm not going to be able to go anywhere, right? All right, great. Now, Caroline, as you were looking and listening, were you thinking about how many parts this piece has? Okay, how many do you think it has? How many main sections? Two? All right, would you mark those and label them with A, B, C, or whatever you think it is? Okay, she has marked the first two lines as her first section, and the last two as her second section. She's labeled A and A prime. Why did you say A prime for the second one?
Because it starts out the same as the first.
And where does it become different? In which measure? Here. The third measure of the third line is different from the third measure of the fourth line. Here it starts and it goes up and keeps going what?
Up.
And what does it do up here?
It keeps on going up and down.
Up and down. Okay, let's look at that third line again. So far, you see that it's moving up in what kinds of, moving up and down in what kinds of intervals? Seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, or what?
Seconds.
Seconds. Now look at the third line. Is it still moving up in seconds?
Mm-hmm.
Still? All right. What happens between the third line last measure and the last line?
They go down thirds.
Down a third. Would you circle that A at the end of the, yeah, so that you can remember that that's a spot, and go ahead and circle where it goes down a third, so that you will remember that change. What does it do, fourth line, second measure? Down a second or a third from here?
A third.
Okay, better circle that one too. Now what does it do?
Go down a second.
Okay. And then of course the last note is not, it's what?
A C.
A C, okay. Have a seat, and now let's talk about how you're going to practice that piece this week. I'm going to circle the first three notes, and would you get your hand ready and just block those? What is that thing that what do we call that?
Triad.
Yeah, what, is that a major or minor triad?
Minor.
What minor triad is it?
E minor.
E minor, okay. Look at the next left hand and measure two. Block it. Is that also a triad? Is it major or minor?
Major.
All right, look at the next one. And the next one. So are they all triads? Take a quick look through the piece. Except for the last measure. Are there always triads? Okay, keep your left hand there and get your right hand ready. Block your right hand. All right, is that also a triad? How about the next one? And the next one. And the next one. Oh, okay, well that's pretty easy, isn't it? Because they just move how?
Seconds.
Seconds. Look at your two thumbs. What do you see about your thumbs?
They're right next door to each other.
They're right next door. Is that going to make it easier to keep track of where you're going? When the left hand moves up, does the right hand go the same direction? Okay, let's see what would happen if you blocked it hands together now. Okay, do you think that would be a good practice step to learn this piece quickly? All right, and then you have to add the rhythm, don't you? So let's get ready again for the first measure. And this is a rhythm that you tapped a minute ago. However, stand up, because there's one thing that's different. Which hand is going to tap the first 3 notes, or going to play the first 3 notes?
Left hand.
And which hand is going to play the next ones?
Right hand.
Okay, let's have you just tap and count with the hands that are going to play, maybe a measure or 2. Ready?
1 E and a 2 E and.
Okay, did you feel lighter on the 16th notes? I mean, on the 8th notes at the end? All right, let's do it again and see if you can feel 1 E and a 2 E and a. Good. One more measure.
1 E and a 2 E and.
Good. Now jump down to the second line, measure 7 and 8, because that's where it changes. Okay.
1 E and a 2 E and 1 E and a 2 E and.
Okay, I'm going to ask you if you would circle that just to remind you to think about that change in rhythm there. Okay, great. In fact, you know, we might even write 4 16th notes in there to remind you what to think on those quarter notes. You have any questions about that piece? Okay, this first week, what tempo will you probably practice it at when you practice it as written?
Slow.
Yeah, sit down again and show us what you think slow would sound like at your house. Do you think you need to count?
Yeah.
Okay.
1 E and a 2 E and 1 E and a 2 E and 1 E and a 2 E and 1 E and a 2 E.
Okay, and why don't you take that? I thought that was a good demonstration of slow. If you practice that slowly, I would be delighted. Okay, would you trace with that red pencil the accents just to remind you of the fact that you're going to really have a 1 E up, 1 E and a 1 E and a. Okay, and why don't you circle just the staccato dots in just a couple of measures? Just to remind you. Okay, I don't think you need to do any more than that. I think we've covered everything that you need to think about, and we've discovered your practice tempo and your counting and so forth. So let's go to another piece. This is a piece you've had